Call the meeting to order. Everyone please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Please remain standing for a moment of silent reflection thereafter. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you for taking the moment to sort of in honor of the Lord's Day. The first order of business will be roll call. I believe we have some individuals with us virtually today, so I'll start with those in the room. Mr. Tagg's here, Mr. Mannix here. O'Rourke's here. I'm here on the phone. I believe we have Senator Brewster, correct?
Yes.
Okay, we have Ms. Mitsborski.
Yes.
And Ali Doyle is on the phone as well.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, and Representative Piscatana.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I believe Mr. Lon and Ms. Turman are unavailable today, so that takes care of roll call. First item of business is the approval of the minutes from the April 28th, 2023 meeting. They have the motion to approve. There's no corrections to be made to the minutes. Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The next item of business will be our report from the Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Catherine Calvin.
Morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, members of the public, members of the board. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Friday. May I have a moment of silence for the following retired staff who have passed since last we met. Operators Eugene Soda, Ronald Sawacki, David Kelly, Norman Jenkins Jr., John Kodal and Joseph Krashna, garage foreman Frank Young, bus assignment shifter Calvin Noel, service person Thomas Ondick, trainman Armin Sanrocco, and stock persons David Harrington and Robert Wisniewski. Thank you. I wanted to touch on our preliminary fiscal 24 budget, which was shared publicly at the board's finance committee last week. Our proposed budget increases our operating with less than 2% from the current fiscal year. I'm very proud of the staff efforts to make sure that we're looking at our costs in an uncertain time. While transit agencies like ours constantly face future uncertainties, ridership protections, inflation, construction costs, here at PRT, we can be certain that our budget priorities benefit our riders and our communities. This includes ramping up staffing needed to provide real-time service disruption information for our mobile apps in real time. It also expands our customer service department starting next fiscal year in hourly increments to see where we can get towards wastestock. This budget also supports our aggressive efforts to attract job candidates to PRT. And we're doing this through a bunch of new initiatives, including offering bonuses for new operators and maintenance positions, providing CDL training and certification at no cost, aggressively participating in local job fairs, enhancing our online application portals, enhanced marketing through social media, TV, and radio. Our capital budget will also support the backbone of our system through critical items such as replacing 30 of our 40-foot clean diesel buses, rehabbing bridges such as my personal favorite, the Panhandle Bridge, and a lot of other really needed capital investments. And the board, of course, will review and consider the final budget proposal in June. We also are bringing to the board for consideration today an IBEW contract with Local 29 that would extend through April 26. Among the key terms in this is adding a Juneteenth holiday for our last bargaining unit. If approved by the board, this will bring all of our bargaining units and our non-bargaining staff to having Juneteenth as a holiday. We've heard this a lot from our African American resource group, from our local unions as well, to make sure that this is a holiday that we commemorate. If you've heard me talk before, you've heard me say, we're not adding seats at the table, we're building a bigger table. Juneteenth is part of our shared history for all Americans. So is the month of Pride, which is coming up in June. And we will be supporting both Juneteenth and Pride parades this year. We have a new wrap coming out for Pride. It is the Progress Pride flag. You see me wearing a button of, showing the evolution of a holiday. And again, these are holidays that all of us can celebrate. These are great stories that we can all share, which unite all of us with all of our friends. And to paraphrase Chichi Rodriguez from Tu Wong Fu, who was so rich as to have too many friends. Finally, and certainly not the last, we'd like to honor Tony Trona. Did you bring tissues, Tony? Because I didn't bring tissues. Pete, did you bring tissues?
I actually did.
Did you bring a big box? Very. Wow, Tony is retiring after 20 years. You lucky duck. He's been our director of procurement since 2007. Many of you here and online know Tony from his thorough and professional reports every month. Every month except August and December, right, Tony? Bringing our bids to us. I'm totally going to embarrass you. I don't care what my notes say. Tony's taking great pride not only in presenting the information, but in vetting the information to be as thorough as possible. And I can't think of more than one time that you didn't have the answer with you and you pointed to the person in the audience who did. Tony has long ensured that PRT adhered to FTA and state procurement regulations, making sure we manage procurement agreements honestly and openly while acting to make sure we have all the services and goods needed to support our county. And I can't say enough good things about the work that Tony's team did during COVID. Having such an engaged procurement staff meant that we had a couple of days lead time in getting hand sanitizer for our staff and getting the parts for partitions and getting the air filtration systems. And that meant we were ahead of everybody else, so our folks could be safe. And that's because Tony was here to do the job. So Tony, can you come up and I can embarrass you? Jim's coming to the
I'm about to wait a second. Yeah.
To my chagrin. I'm curious, there are no questions. I will conclude my remarks.
And I would like to say on behalf of the board, I think I would say that we are all going to miss his voice. So comforting and confident and full of integrity every time Tony would read the items to present before the board, and your professionalism, diligence, and expertise within your field of profession have been exemplary. And we thank you, and we're going to miss you, and have a great time. With that, we'll move on to the report of the Performance and Oversight Committee. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. The Performance Oversight Committee met last week, and I have 4 resolutions for your consideration. The committee first reviewed 5 procurement items and determined the bids to be in accordance with PRT's procurement policies and procedures. The price is fair and reasonable, the bidders to be responsible, and the bids responsive. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends the awards of bids listed in the resolution for the total amount of approximately $3 million. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
May I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries.
The second resolution is to authorize PRT to adopt a collective bargaining agreement with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 29. This agreement, which expired on April 30th, 2023, covers the terms and conditions of employment for certain PRT customer service benefits and other personnel. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends approving and ratifying the proposed terms and conditions of the amended agreement between PRT and IBEW effective May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2026, as set forth in the summary attached to the resolution as Exhibit A. It was noted that
Did not finish yet, Senator, so give her a second and then you can make a motion.
It was noted at the meeting that IBEW members have recently ratified the proposed terms and conditions of the amended agreement. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
May I have a motion to approve, Senator?
So moved.
Okay. May I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Very good. Thank you. The next resolution will authorize PRT to enter into an agreement to provide executive search, outplacement, and coaching services. A request for proposals was publicly advertised and an informational meeting was held on February 2nd, 2023. 3 proposals were received for the executive search services. 1 proposal was received for outplacement services, and 2 proposals were received for coaching services. The 2 firms of Krauthammer Associates LLC and Gomez Partners Incorporated were identified as the proposers with the highest rated proposals to perform the executive search services, and Count and Associates was identified as the proposer with the highest rated proposal to perform both the outplacement and coaching services. The agreements will be for a term of 3 years for a total not to exceed amount of $430,000 and will be allocated on an as-needed basis through task-specific work orders. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends entering into agreements with the aforementioned firms for the designated services. My fellow members, I respectfully request that the board approve this resolution.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Lastly, PRT is seeking to complete the East Busway pavement restoration project. The resolution seeks authorization for PRT to enter into a construction contract for the services related to the project. Bid documents were prepared and publicly advertised, and 2 bids were received for the contract. After review of the bids, it has been determined that the bid of Lindy Paving Incorporated is the lowest responsive bid from a responsible bidder for the contract. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends that a contract be awarded to Lindy Paving Incorporated in the amount of $7,668,130, subject to completed the pre-award requirements. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, that concludes my report. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Next, we'll have the report of the Planning and Stakeholder Relations Committee. Mr. Tate, you're up.
Morning, Madam Chair, and fellow board members and stakeholders. The Planning and Stakeholders Relations Committee met last week on a few items from the board. First, Director of Transit Scheduling, Philip St. Pierre, presented the June 2023 service changes. Changes in effect are going to affect June 18th to include some running time adjustments, frequency changing, routing changes, and adjustments to include on-time performance and reliability. Daily running time adjustments will be made to 14 routes. Weekday running times and adjustments will be made to 7 routes, and weekend running times adjustments will be made to 2 routes. Trip times will be adjusted for 10 routes. Frequency changes will be made to these routes and 6 routes. You'll see some kind of routing change. Second item is Karen Hess, Director of Access Transportation Systems, served as an oversight of the Paratransit Organization, sponsored by PRT and working with other community partners. Access helps connect eligible individuals to trips to events, shopping, medical services, and more. Access also helps reduce the cost of fares on PRT service, making individuals to PRT service provides to nearby stops and other amenities. The partnership allows Pittsburgh PRT service and Paratransit to work together to provide the best experience for those individuals. Access is dealing with many of the same challenges as PRT, including driver recruitment, changing ridership, and funding changes. New partnerships are continuing to be forged and sought out to help fund these needed service. Access provides minimum requirements for service at various days and focus of services, fares, and both door-to-door service and hand-to-hand service. Very like the Allegheny County Transit Council met on May 24th, control of peak train, provided the council with the annual PRT budget and finance overview. Ellie Newman, Section Manager of Service Development, provided an update on the next transit downtown project. Philip St. Pierre, Director of Transit Scheduling, presented on the upcoming June service changes. The next scheduled meeting for Allegheny County Transit Council was June 21st. The fourth last item is the Committee for Accessible Transportation. The Committee for Accessible Transportation, Philip St. Pierre, Director of Service Scheduling, presented on the upcoming June service changes. One-year program manager, place-based planning, provided an update on the building on the East Busway project. Darcy Cleaver, section manager of transit amenities, provided with an update on the accessible technologies and asked for feedback from the committee. Follow Hamlin CAP members spoke about the PRT project. Karen Hesh access provided information on paratransit services, including medical assistance transportation program funding and access to healthy food initiatives. The next scheduled meeting for the CAB is on August 3rd. There are going to be two special meetings, one on May 3rd to give an update to the CAB committee about next transit. And then on June 7th, there's going to be a special meeting for the CAB to talk about the PRT project. Unless there's any questions, that concludes my report to Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Tang. There's no further questions. We move on to the next report. Report of the Finance Committee, which is done by the chair, Mr. Gann. I can't pronounce your name. You know, today anyway. 100 years and I mispronounced the name 7 times. I apologize.
Good morning, Madam Chair, fellow board members. The Finance Committee met on Thursday, May 18th, 2023. The committee first received a presentation on the preliminary FY 2024 operating and capital budgets. It was reported that the FY 2024 preliminary operating budget totals $534,266,565, which is a 1.6% increase versus the revised FY 2023 operating budget. It was also reported that passenger revenues have been slowly increasing since the height of the pandemic in FY 2021. Preliminarily, the FY 2024 passenger revenues are currently budgeted at a 10% increase from the projected FY plan. It was noted that passenger fares are on a positive trend line. Preliminary FY 2024 operating budget subsidy stakeholder totals $280 million from the Commonwealth, $21.6 million from federal stimulus, $39 million from Allegheny County, and $3 million from the Regional Asset District. Commonwealth funding is projected to increase by 3.8% versus FY 2023 levels. The preliminary operating budget assumes contractual increases with all 3 labor unions of PRT, a merit pool and market adjustments for non-union employees, as well as increased pension expenses related to the 2022 stock market losses. The preliminary budget also includes health benefit increases due to contractual increases with providers and diesel fuel expense increases due to market volatility. It was reported that the current 5-year financial plan indicates depletion of federal stimulus and reserves by FY 2028 given certain assumptions. It was reported that the preliminary FY 2024 capital budget is currently set at $195,185,421, which is a decrease of 31% from the revised FY 2023 capital budget. The reduction is due to a decrease in BRT funding, which was included in the FY 2023 capital budget. The preliminary FY 2024 capital budget primarily consists of debt service, a purchase of 30 40-foot diesel buses, and funding for various fixed guideway and facility improvement programs. Next, the April financial results were presented to the committee. It was reported that total operating income for the month of April was $307,081 over budget due to higher interest income on cash reserves. Passenger revenue for the month was only marginally below budget by $8,940. Total operating income for FY 2023 is $1.9 million under budget for the fiscal year due to lower passenger revenue, which is partially offset by healthy returns in interest income. Total operating expenses in April were $1.35 million below budget due to lower materials and supplies expense. Lower expense levels in the materials and diesel fuel line items accounted for $1.15 million of this variance. Total operating expenses fiscal year date continues to trend below budget by $40.5 million. Approximately $20.47 billion of this variance is due to lower wages and salaries and employee benefits related to vacant positions. Total subsidy per month is slightly below budget by $340,609, primarily due to lower state operating assistance related to access match. Total subsidy for FY 2023 is $5.05 million below budget due to lower state operating assistance and ARPA invoicing, which will normalize by year end. Finally, it was reported that PRT ended the month of April with approximately $183.5 million in cash reserves. Madam Chair, unless there are any questions or comments, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to move on to the report of the Technology Committee, which is my committee. So I'm going to again, good morning. Technology Committee met on May 18th, and there are two resolutions that I have for consideration today. The first to review for a bid for the purchase of FIXX software licenses in a total estimated amount of $405,727.50. The committee determined the bid to be in accordance with the PRT's procurement policies and procedures, and the prices to be fair and reasonable. With that, I respectfully request that the board approve this resolution. So I'm going to ask the motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next resolution that I have will amend and extend the existing agreement for farebox equipment to keep the existing equipment operational. This is a final one-year extension on the contract and will expire on May 31st of 2024. The Technology Committee recommends amending the agreement with Scheid Bachman and increasing the total not to exceed amount to $5,480,600. With that, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution. I will ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And with that, I thank the board members for participation, and I will move on to the next item on the agenda. We have no business today, so we're going to move to public comment. We have Mr. Ralph Williams, the president of the Allegheny County Transit Council. Mr. Williams, are you ready to present? Your 3 minutes.
Yes, I am. Thank you, Madam Chairperson, members of the board. This morning, I don't have a lot to talk about, but I'm going to talk about the same thing I have been talking about here at the board meetings. First, I want to congratulate the board and the PRT for ratifying the contracts, of Local 29, 85, and all the contracts that got negotiated, because it won't back anything up in the system. Everybody's happy, and we got the contracts negotiated. I really appreciate everyone doing that. But the main reason I'm here is what I'm always here to talk about, and that is experienced drivers that are still out from COVID. I still want to see these guys come back because we need the experience on the road. And we're having issues right now. PRT's having issues trying to get drivers. They're still now hiring. And I would rather see experienced drivers on the road. No offense to the rookie drivers. The rookie drivers are good people. At least they signed up to do the job. But we still need those experienced drivers back. And I urge you guys, please, to hire these guys back so it'll help the situation, getting these routes covered, getting things together. And it's great to hear that we're the ridership's up 15%. Have a great day, and I'll see you next month.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. There are no other public comments listed. So with that, I will report that the next regular meeting of the board will be Friday, June 23rd, 2023. If there's no other business to come before the board, I'd like to first apologize on behalf of the chairman. He is scheduled to be out today. That's why you have me instead. So he does send his well wishes for the weekend. Everyone have safe and happy holidays. So do I. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Okay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.